It's back, y'all. The Bachelor Podcast. How are you fine-looking, handsome men doing?
Doing well.
Doing great.
What's wrong? Are we already having technical issues?
Adjusting volumes, things of this such.
You guys good?
We're good.
Yeah, no, we're real peaceful now.
In the house, we've got one Ryan Beckett. How are you today, brother?
Doing great, doing great.
How was your weekend?
It was awesome. I'm glad last night was only an hour. I got a little bit more sleep than usual.
It is.
That was a nice change up.
Yeah.
It was, man. 2 hours is so long. Not that I'm complaining, but it's on a Monday. We got to wake up so early.
It's a
Yeah.
big commitment.
It's a big commitment. Denny's, how are you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah. So you had, did you do that thing in Delray over on Sunday? I was in Delray. You didn't?
No.
I'm glad I didn't go over there because I was going over there with my buddy and we ended up getting some lunch and having a couple beers.
This is the time of year, especially in the horse show season. We have so many clients in town. There's charity events. And, in the beginning, they're such a blast. And then after a while, you're just like, oh, it's like another event to go to, another dinner to go to. And you gotta pace yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Did you watch The Bachelor last night? Because I know me and Denny's did. Denny was a little late to get to the party. His cat threw up.
Cat barfed on the floor as I was
No.
leaving, yeah.
It was like 8:15. I'm like, Denny's isn't coming. And then he sends me, oh, my cat threw up. I guess Denny's giving me excuses. Is he blowing me off to do not do the Bachelor?
I was like, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah, no, I watched last night. My move is to start TiVoing it, start to record it, and then to start watching it and catch up to it. And I can go through the
Fast
commercials.
forward through the
Commercials are so.
yeah.
I think I timed it. Commercials are at least 4.5 minutes long. That's so long. You can go poop in that amount of time. It's it's bathroom time.
Oh, and they got brutal commercials about like medications and stuff.
So
You seen them?
Refill the wine glass.
yes, you're right. we had our girl go home last night. Oh my gosh, I can't believe
Our
it.
girl.
Sad
That's your
moment.
girl.
That's
Yeah,
my girl. Corinne went home. Here is a clip. We got clips this week, y'all. Here's Corinne saying goodbye to Nick.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I ever did anything to make you upset.
You never did. Listen, you didn't do anything wrong. Ever. You have nothing to regret. You have nothing to second guess. Look at me. Nothing. Not a thing. I'm gonna miss the hell out of you. I have so much love for you, Corinne.
Good luck.
Thanks.
God, breaking up sucks so bad, especially when someone starts to cry.
Tough. I can't imagine. Be in that position, like to break up with that many people. Like,
Oh, it's arguably the worst part of a relationship, and you have to do it literally like 20 times in one season.
So I know we talked about that last week, breaking up and all that stuff. Have you guys ever had a breakup where the girl she is crying and basically hyperventilating, and it gets to that level of what the hell's going on here?
Yeah. No, I would almost prefer the girl to be mean because then it makes it easier.
Gives you a little rationing.
Yeah.
Well, that goes back to what I was saying last week. If you know there's going to be a situation where there's going to be tears and like,
Yeah.
is that good to do that in person?
I don't know. It pulls on the heart cord, and if you're not sure about breaking up, we were talking about that earlier. Like the easier breakups, I think, are the ones that are definitive. It was something painful. It's like a Band-Aid. It was
She does you
painful.
wrong.
She does you wrong, and like it's clear as to what the decision is. The worst is like you're kind of unsure, so you're not really sure what to do, and then you break up with her, and then she says a few things that are kind of making you second guess it in your head.
Well, the worst is if you are dating somebody and you don't know why you don't like them. There's really there's no drama. Things are going good, but you're just in your soul. You're like, I don't know if this is right. Do you guys ever get that?
Yeah, I get that. And the more scary part is the opposite, though, or maybe similar in the sense that you really that's the kind of girl you want to be with, but maybe to your point, like in your soul, you don't feel it, like whatever that little disconnect or cognitive dissonance is, like it's not there, but you're like, this would be a great mom. This would be a great wife to me.
Just
like,
not clicking.
It's every box that I want to check before I even met her, and it's not. That sucks.
Well, we were talking a little bit before the podcast. We're getting a little deep in here before the podcast even started. We will talk about everything. But yeah, what do you do when you are with somebody and you don't like them anymore and there's no reason? Oh, what did I?
Did you take that clip off?
I did.
That's to mark that button so that it doesn't move. That's what's holding that speaker together.
Oh no, I'm a fidgeter, dog. What do I do?
I just got to tell Brian to put it back. It's the button's broken. As you were.
We run a very high classy play. Okay, just please
Don't
show.
pull any strings.
Please show this on our TV. This is what's holding up our volume knob. Is that what you're telling me?
For us to hear outside of the headphones, yeah, that's our volume for the room.
What are we doing here, guys? A clothespin? I mean, that's
awesome.
that's not on me.
No, I hear ya.
I don't even know what I was saying.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but yeah, I saw it. Probably Brian's gonna have to fix that.
Doesn't matter what I was saying. I digress.
What I was going to say, what I thought was really funny watching last night is when Corinne got in the limo, she was talking, and there was something happened. Do you guys notice that? Where they clipped back to her, and she was like upset, and I was like, I feel really bad for her. And I still felt bad for her, but then all of a sudden she was hammered.
Oh,
you
yeah.
see that at the end?
Yeah.
There's people
She's
like
like,
that.
I'm done. She's like, I'm done. You know, like you knew that had to be like 20 minutes into
For
the
sure.
into the ride.
Have you ever known someone like that or gone out with somebody? Everything's fine. You're hanging out. They go to the bathroom. 15 minutes later, they are smashed.
Yeah.
It's almost like they have a flask in their blouse or
right.
something.
I think I've been that person.
I've been that person too.
Yeah,
I have
happens.
definitely been that person. But yeah, she. I don't know if you guys saw that one part. She was in the back of the limo. I'm talking about Corinne. She, why can't I find a normal relationship?
Right.
I mean, come on, Corinne. You know the answer to that.
Right.
You're not looking in the right places.
Well, she's unencumbered though. If she was your favorite, and she's a South
This
Florida
is coming
girl.
back
Now's
to
your
SoFlo.
chance.
I am not her type of guy.
No?
No way, man. She likes fancy stuff and she likes Palm Beach. I like the Palm Beach Ale House.
Right.
That's always my thing.
Fair enough.
Here's the cool thing. I did solicit last night for some questions, and boy, oh boy, Ryan Beckett, the ladies
man.
are asking you some stuff.
The one show I didn't bring another guy on. I said to soften the blow.
So let's get into
They
it.
gotta have Denny's here.
Hey Ryan, would you ever date a woman who already has kids? I'm single and I'm a 7 but have a great personality. Would you give a girl like me a chance to cook you dinner? I'm a great cook and live in Port St. Lucie. Her name's Laura. I'm really putting you on the spot.
Wow, jeez.
Is the Port St. Lucie the deal breaker?
Port St. Lucie is kind of far. That's kind of like you pick up the phone and someone sends you a message and it's a green text message and you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Port St. Lucie. I love me some Pizzle girls. I want to go over what she did wrong. This
Okay.
is what she did wrong. And if you are a single guy or girl and you're in the dating world, to me this is such a no-no. She wants to obviously take you out. She wants to cook you dinner. She wants to do something like that. First mistake, she doesn't send a picture. I'm not trying to be shallow here, but you need to
have to.
send a picture.
Yeah, they put those on resumes now even.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be
Don't-
professional.
Yeah, be professional. Don't send you an email that you want to go out and then not send a. That's number one. The other thing too is, I don't know if every guy, like for example, you've never met this girl who wrote in. Her cooking you dinner. How does that make you feel?
If it's quite literally a blind date, then it's kind of
Too
scary.
soon.
A little scary.
Yeah.
Too familiar, too soon, right?
Preparing a meal, yeah.
Or a little too comfortable.
That's what I mean. I think being too comfortable sometimes can be a big red flag and a turnoff for some people.
You got to give her credit for putting herself out there.
Love that. I love that. I think it's awesome. And if she's listening, I don't want her to feel bad by my critique.
Yeah.
I want to help her with
It's
her critique.
constructive.
It is. It's constructive. We talked about it on the air before on our show.
Yep.
People that are on Tinder or are on Plenty of Fish, if you have a profile pic of, just your dog or just a shell,
Or you and 5 other people.
it's the wrong move. Okay, you're a single dude. If you're looking at one of those websites and a girl goes, "Hey Ryan Beckett, I think you're really hot. I'd love to go out with you." What's the first thing you want to do? You want to see what she looks like.
Right.
If you don't have the pictures, you're doing it wrong.
I guess to answer the question about already having a kid, it's not a deal breaker. I would just, to be quite candid, I would say it's not obviously ideal. But I wouldn't put like a huge wall as to not even getting to know a person.
What are your reservations on dating somebody that does have a kid? Not to say you wouldn't, but what would be those?
I would say that at this phase of my life, I got a startup company. I'm trying to, really get after it.
Bragger.
Well, a startup is sometimes, you feel like you're taking over the world, and some days you feel like nothing's gonna.
Oh,
work.
yeah.
It'll make you manic for sure.
For sure.
But I would just say that I, especially if the kid became my obligation. If she was in a situation where she's like, hey, like, if we worked out, I'd want you to be the stepfather and really involved, but this isn't going to be something you're going to have to hop in and like, be. It's like how you get incorporated into the life.
Yeah, the thing I always say, I mean, I have dated a couple girls with kids, and the thing that does suck is if you become attached to the kid. Like I became attached to one of the kids, and if things don't work out,
It's tough.
I mean, yeah, not only is the kid a little sad probably, but there's another angle too. I mean, there's a relationship that the guy has with that kid too.
If you think breaking up with a girl by itself was hard,
It's
Breaking up with two people.
dude, it's very tough. It's extremely
My
tough.
ex had a dog. We lived together, and that was difficult.
That could be sad too.
you know?
Absolutely. You get,
Just having a dog together was really
Don't even get me
difficult.
going with the dog thing. Are you guys ready for another email?
yeah.
Is it for Diddy's?
Let's see here.
what do they got for-
Nothing for Danny. Oh, look, I got another one for Ryan. No, this is actually addressed to the Bachelor Podcast.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Bachelor Podcast. If you guys were in a serious relationship and your girl wanted to have a threesome with another girl, would you be into it? My man is not into it, and it kind of bums me out. Do most guys want threesomes, or is it different for each guy? Laura.
That's different from each guy.
Different for each guy. Why doesn't he? My question is, why doesn't he want it? I mean, I know why I would potentially hesitate at it.
Give me your reason why, because she didn't go into details why her man didn't want it. But I'm wondering if your reasoning and my reasoning kind of line up.
I think we had a conversation about this on one of the other podcasts. Is it cheating? You know, and
It's not if everyone's involved. It's not if she's wanting it.
So I think that just because it's a girl doesn't mean. I mean, I'm definitely a lot more comfortable with that than another guy
Yeah.
for sure. But I would
Bringing in a bro.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know if that causes more problems because there's sometimes like you have an idea that sounds great on paper, but you do it and it causes all. If you have to have, in my opinion, really two secure people, and it sounds like her partner's maybe not so secure, and that's gonna bring up so many more issues.
So okay, let's say you get married to your dream girl.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are married for 2 years. Things start to get, I won't say stale, but all right, it's not as passionate as it was. And she goes, Ryan, I would really like to hook up with another girl. And
Down.
I don't even think you finished that sentence.
Okay, Denny's,
Absolutely.
let's turn it on you. Jen comes to you and says, look, I really would like to hook up with one of the girls you work with. I think she's really hot. Or maybe just a stranger you meet at Dirty Martini. Are you down?
I don't know, man. I have a hard time with the threesome. I think it always complicates things. Like somewhere down the line, you're gonna pay a little more attention to
Someone
her
gets left
pelvic
out.
region, and the girl's gonna see it in the corner of her eye, and your whole life's over.
It's weird because I would have reversed it. I would have thought you would have been more like, I don't know, feelings, and I would have thought he'd have been like, yeah, threesome.
Well, as the
time.
guy, if you're trying to give him the business and you're giving too much at one end, I mean, obviously it's gonna make her jealous.
Well, what happens if this goes down? Because guys always look at it, well, if it's another girl, cool. But, well, okay, let's say you guys do that, and it's a great experience for you and your girl, like, everyone involved is loving it. 6 months, a year later, your girlfriend or your wife or whoever you're with goes, hey, I'll let you have a threesome with a hot girl.
Now it's my turn.
I would like to try it with a guy. How dare you? Why is it so okay for the guy to bring it up about the girl or have the girl involved? And if the guy is involved, guys are like, ugh. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see what you're saying. That's why the communication going into it has got to be really clear. Be like, hey, if I do this, are you going to want to do the opposite? Going in, and then you have to have an honest conversation about how you guys feel about it.
I know how I am. I don't think I'm a jealous person. I really don't.
Yeah.
But if I knew my girlfriend and she vocalized it to me that she wanted to sleep with another guy, and in any way, shape, or form, I'd be devastated. It would take me so
You'd be like,
out
why?
It would mentally. I'd be very, very hurt. I think in fantasy it's great and it's
Yeah.
awesome, but even just the fact that she needs something else other than me, I would feel very insecure about that.
yeah, it's ultimately gonna cause way more issues.
Look,
But don't you think everyone feels that way? It's just whether or not they
no,
act on it.
I
ever?
don't. I've known guys that I played baseball with back in the day, and they are not emotionally as connected as some people that I know, where they're like, dude, if it's another hot chick, hell yeah, I want to hit that. They're very, I don't want to say macho. What's the word I'm looking for? They're just more, I don't know, cavemen like.
Yeah.
And they're not so in tune with their feelings. I've met dudes like that. Like, yeah, man, give me a prime piece. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it is different, but I've always wondered what's the majority on that.
Yeah.
Because you seem like a guy that's very in tune to your feelings.
Yeah.
And in your head a lot, I could see that situation messing you up.
I agree with you. So, like, there's certain things that are, maybe hot, like as an idea, and then you actually like do it. Like you brought up, like you're like, hey, like a girl that works with Denny's, like that, like all of a sudden that brings all kinds of other issues.
Oh yeah, you're seeing her at work now. Then you go home. It's like, oh, how's so?
So typically, from what we've gathered in the swinging community, a lot of times it's better to bring that third girl in if she is not at all any ties with you guys. She's not a friend.
I think if you're gonna do it, it has to be a complete rando.
So if Jen wanted to bust a threesome, you are like, absolutely not.
I just know it's gonna complicate things. I'd rather not even introduce that.
What if you end up doing it and it didn't complicate it for her? Do you think you would be complicated with it?
No, I can pretty much get over anything. And if she wanted, especially tough things like that. But like, I mean, bring even in a dude. I feel like the dude's anatomy is just a little more aggressive.
Yeah,
the dude,
100%.
I think the dude thing. I think we're all on board.
Yeah,
That's
But how's
not
that
happening.
fair though? Like,
It's not fair. There'll be a girl listening saying, "Okay, guys always want a threesome with another girl, but what if the girl wants to get a little freaky, bring an extra pole in there? Oh, now she's considered a tramp." And when you're right, it's not fair.
Yeah.
I don't know.
we like to hit the hard-hitting questions here.
Look, this is what the people are asking. These are
No, I
listener
hear you. That's a good
questions.
one. That's a tough one.
It is a tough one.
You guys want our tough questions?
Yeah,
Let's
bring 'em.
Bring them on.
All right. This one's more about feelings and not as sexual.
Oh,
so, Fairways Palm Trees at Bailey's Open. I guess that's their Bailey's Opie is their Twitter handle. Long name.
Nice and easy.
Jason and the guys. Why do men act like they are into you, then they ghost you?
Ghosting is a big problem I have. Not myself, but I have a problem with the act of ghosting. I think that is so immature, and it's happened to me. I don't think I can think of any situation where I intentionally did that ever. I just think that the ghosting thing is just such a childish way to handle a situation.
Okay, so let me lay this out to you. I had a situation one time where I clearly expressed to myself that it wasn't a good time to be involved. And I thought I got all my points. I mean, I said, look, it's not a good time for me. And the person kept coming back and saying, why are you ghosting me? Why are you ghosting me? I'm like, look, I'm not ghosting you. I'm telling you that I can't do that. How do you deal with that kind of situation?
I think if you didn't actually ghost the person,
And they're saying you did.
I'm saying yes, and then you can ghost them. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's what I want.
So long as you communicated to it. When I think of the definition of the word ghost, it's like you guys were having this relationship, you started down a certain path, and there was no closure, no explanation. Like if you got back with your boyfriend, let me know. Or say it's a bad time if you don't if you want to be a little bit more nebulous and ambiguous as to the reason why it's happening, you know?
But can that really be a real thing though when you are dating somebody or trying to get involved or with anything? Is having a bad time, mentally going through something, is that a legit excuse if things are
100%.
Yeah, and just let them know though. Don't just like duck out. You guys go on a nice date, and then the next day you don't get a text, and then a week later.
Yeah, because I've had situations where I've been ghosted, and then call it 3 weeks later or 2 months later, I got an explanation as to why I was ghosted, and I was like, why you just tell me that?
You know, I think people are afraid to hurt people's feelings. I think that's why ghosting happens, because there's a confrontation, whether it's going to be tears or it's going to be yelling, something uncomfortable is about to go down, and most people can't handle that.
I think that people need to understand that ghosting in many ways is worse, because I'm maybe too laid back to a fault, and when you ghost someone, it makes someone, to me, that is almost too even-keeled and too laid back. It kind of makes someone like me crazy. I'm like, what is going on?
We got a crazy
I need
Beckett up in
answers.
What is
here.
going on? She logged on to Facebook Messenger like 3 minutes ago, and I sent her a text like this morning. Like, what's going on?
It's amazing when you like somebody, the level of crazy you will go to.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You're right. I remember I was with somebody and she wasn't talking to me, and I noticed this is the crazy shit you do.
Yeah.
She logged on Words with Friends. She logged on.
Great.
She's playing with people, Words with Friends, but she ain't got time to answer my
I
text.
know she's looking at the phone.
She's looking at the phone.
Absolutely.
She can't use the old excuse, I washed my phone. Yeah.
You almost want to log into Words with Friends.
Yeah, and yeah, put it in there, sell out as my word.
As your word, 10 points.
But it's weird. You start doing things you normally don't do.
Oh.
You're scouring their Facebook page. You're looking at pictures from 3 years ago.
Oh yeah, you're worrying about things that don't matter, and you're making things out of things that aren't anything.
You're following her when she's at Publix, and you don't. Oh, never mind.
You're clipping pieces of her hair off while she's not looking.
I had a girl I was dating, and she was. I was telling my friends like how bad it sucked dating her. I was getting ready to break up with her. I was trying to work up the courage. She was coming to Florida back from where she lived in Toronto, and she was definitely cheating on me. I found out.
You definitely knew by your gut.
I'm 99% sure. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And I called her out on it. She lied to me, said that she wasn't. And yeah, like it made me crazy. I was like, and I told my friends, I was like, I was literally getting ready to break up with this girl last week. Why do I care so much?
Well, I think that's the part of the ego that we all have. No one likes to be dumped. And no one likes to be told that they're not good enough in any way, whether it's a job, a relationship. And you're right. I've had situations before too where I don't like this girl. I hope she breaks. I just want this over with. And then she is ending up hooking up with another dude. You're like, wait a minute, why did you do that?
What?
Why are you doing?
Oh man, in high school,
I didn't even give a crap.
I was gonna break up with this girl, and I was telling my buddies, I was like, yeah, this weekend I think I'm gonna break up with her. And like word got around, rumor, and she ended up breaking up with me before the weekend. And it like hurt my feelings. It was
ego.
so weird. And I didn't even want to be in it.
It's the ego, my man.
Crushed me.
And I think everyone possesses that, and then I think once that's crushed, you're like, oh man, my feelings. It really just comes out. Your feelings.
Yeah, feelings are.
Well, to tie it back into the show, I think that's one of the problems in why people get emotional. Not all the reason, but part of the reason. It just depends on the person. When they're coming off the show, a lot of it's ego.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Like you built yourself up in this situation, just like the reason like an auction works, like there's competition and other people, and you feel like an ego, a sense of loss, and like.
Well, too, you're basically being told you're not good enough, and that's tough to swallow.
In a very vulnerable position, a position, to be honest, like I've said before, I couldn't get to on the show. So these girls, to their credit, and to the guys that are on the show, like they let themselves be that vulnerable, and then only one person isn't going to get just literally crushed.
Being vulnerable on TV, man. Gosh, that's rough. I have a hard time just in my room.
Let's be vulnerable right now on the podcast.
Right.
Come on, let's open up, Denny's. Last night, another clip I'd like to go over, and we're gonna delve into it. It's about to get sexual again, guys. We had Raven. I feel so bad for Raven's ex-boyfriend. Now everyone knows.
I said the same thing.
He's the crappiest
man.
lover. I've never. Let me play the clip.
Nick and Raven, welcome to the winter wonderland of Finland. I hope you're enjoying the stunning views. Should you choose to forego your individual rooms tonight, please use this key to stay as a couple in a fantasy suite. Well, I would love to spend this time with you, so I definitely accept.
Wow.
So easily said, but I need to remind you of two things.
Okay.
One, I've only been with one person.
Okay.
And I just want you to keep that in your mind.
I keep that in mind. I've kept it in mind.
The second thing is that my last boyfriend, my ex, who I was intimate with, never made me orgasm.
Oh, record scratch.
Lost for words.
Yeah. I was not expecting that.
That poor guy.
It's just how she worded it too. It's not like, hey, like I've never had an orgasm before. She goes, my last boyfriend never made me.
Couldn't do it.
There's no way that guy's not at work. I mean, just being bagged
Oh, he's 100%.
Bad.
100%.
With that said, have you guys ever been with a girl that said, "Look, Denny's, you can't get me to the promised land. I'm not feeling the big O." Have you ever dealt with that before?
Oh, I've tackled and conquered, my friend. I did a lot of research when I was younger on the old G spot, if you will.
What? Did you really have a situation where a girl said,
Yeah.
And now, was this a girl that you guys been sleeping with each other for a while?
No. I kind of, I mean, I don't know how into this we can get, but
You don't have to get too graphic, but...
Well, I used to buy weed from her, and so I had a pretty good relationship with her ahead of time, and then it kind of just happened one day, and she brought that up like mid-cunnilingus.
Okay, well that's a little bit different.
Hilarious.
That's different because that's a girl you were hooking up with. I'm talking about a girl you're in a relationship with,
And you just can't deliver
You guys have
it?
been having sex for months on end, and then she drops the bomb. Hey, Denny's, no, you've never got me to that point. Has anything like that ever happened to you guys?
I don't know, man. I put a lot of work in there.
It hasn't happened to me, but sometimes certain girls, it's more challenging for
I think
them
some
to-
women cannot achieve it without some sort of extra.
Yeah, or as easily, it's more difficult. I mean, it's always way better to date a girl. It's really easy for
Oh,
them.
yeah.
They
So-
feel like a superhero. Rather.
Oh, for sure. Especially when you get multiples.
For the two guys that is listening to this podcast, if he is in a situation where his girl is saying, "Look, I really like having sex because it feels good and all, but I just can't get there," what would be your advice for him? Because I know this happens.
Oh, I'd buy a vibrator.
And I know that guys struggle with this, and it can be uncomfortable because not everyone's open. Not everyone's on a podcast talking about their feelings and
Right.
What do you tell that guy? And is it a lost hope?
My advice is to find out the context, like see if it's her problem or it's something that that she's dealt with before, or if it's something that you're doing or not doing. Because in some ways, like with girls, it can just be their mental state. You gotta,
a lot of them are
turn the TV
emotionally
off.
aroused.
You gotta have TV off. Like the dog in the bed's too distracting. You know what I
We
mean?
got the dog in the bed. All right, it's getting freaky in here.
Don't you always feel bad for animals that are in the room while it's happening?
I don't know. It depends on what are they watching. There's if the animals are watching hot sex, I don't feel bad for them at all.
I hear you, but they're probably like, "What's going on here?"
I think sometimes they think someone's getting hurt.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
If you're doing it right.
You're like, that move's original.
Okay, so you would say, you would tell the guy listening that's not bringing it home to his lady,
I tell him it's all not his fault, man. Like he said, a lot of it's emotional for women. Men are very visual. I think women are very emotional.
let's do some role playing.
All right.
I am the guy. You are the girl. You tell me what I need to do to make you feel good.
All right. Oh, I'd be like, hey, it feels great what you're doing, and I love it, and obviously it fills me with joy.
Can you soften up your voice a little bit? Come on.
The problem is, it's not getting me to that next level, that 100%.
Well, what do I need to do, baby, to get you to that point?
I don't know. I've tried thinking about everything, and I think it's not what you're doing that's wrong. I feel like I just need to be romanced a little bit more.
Oh, Daddy, I don't know.
I think that's what chicks say.
I do think it's important to communicate about it and have the girl feel. I mean, I keep on saying this communication thing, but it's so true.
It's true.
Absolutely.
Like they need to be comfortable where they can be candid on that kind of level as to like, hey, like this is what's worked for me in the past, and like not be like, oh, well, was that what you did with your ex all the time? Like you got to be open
Absolutely.
and like not make them feel bad about being honest.
You
like,
bring up a great point, and I know you think you're beating a dead horse. You're not. Communication is key. I know so many girls that are dating such douches. I mean, these guys are douches, and these are good, nice, sweet, good-looking girls, and they're dating douches, and everything is such a common factor on all these relationships. What it is the guy doesn't want to talk about jack shit.
Right.
Doesn't like to communicate.
Yep.
Doesn't like to be romantic, and is kind of numb and dumb walking through life. Oh, where's my meal at? Give me a piece. Kind of like that type of mentality.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship like that and somebody's giving it all and the other person is not, I don't know if that's ever going to work.
right.
No.
And I think people feel like they're stuck in relationships because, and then they might be because they got kids or they're married.
Yeah.
But if you're in a relationship see, that's what I'm afraid of. You get in a relationship where one person's giving it all and then the next person's like, whatever, I'm going through the motions.
Yeah. No, you bring up a good point, and I have guy friends that are this way. I'm not. I mean, I think, Jay, you and I are similar in this way. Like, that movie Don John was really interesting to me because he had to really mentally connect with someone he wasn't really initially attracted to, in fact, was kind of creeped out about in the first, and he was pulling these 9s and 10s out of the clubs thinking that's what was fulfilling him, and it wasn't. So for me, like, I have guy friends, and some of them are married, some of them aren't. So long as they're having sex every night, they're happy.
Yeah.
It's the physical act, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Me, I fall, and I have friends that are like this too. I fall into the same thing. Like it's way more fulfilling to me sexually if there's like a connection, right?
Emotion.
Emotion and like
For
stuff
sure.
like that.
And that's what I was talking about. The guys that I played baseball with back in the day, they don't have that emotional
Right,
gene
100%.
in them.
And I think I could be wrong, but I think that's something that's pretty easy to figure out about the other person.
For sure.
Like the girl can pick up as if the guy's kind of the Neanderthal type, and sometimes that's healthy. Like the girls like that, and they've been married for 20 years. I have some friends like that. They're always like knocking the husband off of them because they always want to sleep with only them. They're faithful and like they're just love it. Mm-hmm. But for me, like I have to, it's I like if I'm in a relationship, I text a lot. Like I play a question game with like the girl I'm dating because like I want to get to know her better. Like hypotheticals. Like I like to hear all that stuff.
That is just it. Some people, and it's kind of. not cool to say that only guys are like that, because there's guys that do like to talk about their feelings and stuff, and then there's a girl that's cold and closed off. I think you told me about someone that you dated back in the day that she was kind of closed off a little bit.
Always, yeah. I mean, it's just different personality types.
Yeah.
But I think, though, when someone's closed off, though, that relationship could possibly be doomed if you're having problems. If you're having issues and you want to talk about it and maybe even go to therapy, and the other person's like, no, I don't want to do this shit.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's going to
It'll never work.
I don't see how it could.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true.
I think ultimately people just want security. I mean, for guys, it's like, if it's just that the Neanderthal thought of just pounding chicks or whatever, or their girlfriend that they love.
He's got away with the words.
But also, for females, they just want to feel secure. They want to know that you're there for them, that you're going to support them no matter what, and they just want to be reassured.
I got another question from a Ryan fan.
Oh, jeez.
It's actually, this one is addressed for everybody. Everyone can answer this one. I want to know, because they talked about the whole orgasm thing, and would you rather, that was the other question I'd say, would you rather have a girl lie to you and say, oh yeah, it feels great, and then you go on with your day, ignorance is bliss kind of a thing?
Nope.
Or if you really sucked at bed, do you want to know?
Yes.
I do too.
100%.
Yeah, you can get better at it.
Yeah.
I definitely do. I mean, I talked to this one guy. We're friends, and I won't out him, but I'm like, he was telling me about one of the first times that him and his ex had done it, and I said, well, did it go good for her? He's like, I don't care, I got mine. And that was his mentality. I hate that mentality. I think
For
it's
sure.
so wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's not sustainable.
No.
So to lead to this question, this is from Donna K at Dis for Donna. I want to know, have you guys ever faked the big O? Girls do it. Do guys? Ryan's like, never.
I don't think I've ever done it. I mean, there's been some, yeah.
People always go, how? It'd actually be pretty easy if you're using protection.
I've
you could
faked
totally-
orgasms before.
You have.
Yeah.
You talked about this before. What happened?
Well, I think I got a little bit. I was overserved, if you will, by
that seems to happen
my
to you.
own doing.
Kind of happens to you a lot.
Yeah, well, I was serving myself, but so I mean, you've heard the term. We've all heard the terms. I don't have to say it. I don't have to be vulgar, but the whiskey D.
Oh yeah, okay. You had a little bit of the whiskey.
So I mean, just to not hurt anyone's feelings,
Pull a parachute to admit that.
Man, I love it now. He censors himself towards the end of the podcast.
I just did a little quiver and I turned over and I just like spit into the condom.
All right.
Wiggled it.
Oh my
So you
God.
can see that it's an easy cover up. But she was like,
hilarious.
"Oh, thank you, for doing that."
Okay, so yeah, to answer your question, Dis for Donna, yes, guys do that, and it does happen. Although I don't think it's that often.
That's hilarious.
I think it's less common.
I've never done that. I just say that I can't go on. I'm
That's
like,
commitment to have props.
Oh
That's just
shit!
support
Well, you
as
hate to let
evidence.
anyone
I
down.
was doing like a vaudeville show in bed
Oh
over
my
here.
You just turn over and pretend you're stretching.
If I had to ask you guys, of all the female contestants on the show, which one was going to have the conversation with Nick about her orgasm, would you ever have thought it was going to be Raven?
Yeah.
Really?
I thought it would have been Corinne. If
Do you
anything.
think her parents are like rolling over? Like she's comes to this conservative family. That's what so it seems.
It's weird. Yes and no. I see what you guys are saying. Because she is kind of a more conservative girl, I think she wants to be upfront and honest. And sometimes I think when people are very innocent, they don't realize
Like,
that
I
they're
gotcha.
being vulgar or they're being, whoa, that's too much information. I do think she's innocent, and she is innocent because she's in her mid-20s. She's only been with one dude. I mean, that it's not that common.
I'm curious your guys' perspective, because my perspective, having been behind the curtain, so to speak, a little bit, like that came off so genuine to me. Like sometimes when she was telling about her love and like whatever, sometimes it feels a little canned or
Yep.
like whatever a little bit. To me, like that came across as like
It did. You could almost. She was
Real
like building
deal.
herself to get up
100%.
into
I
it.
didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't see it back in the day. You guys are right. Raven's gonna win this thing.
Really?
I think Raven's gonna win it. I do.
Nick had to take the cup away from her because she was shaking so bad.
She's such
She's
a good
solid.
girl.
Solid chick.
She's a good girl, and so is Vanessa. They're definitely good girls. They both. Well, you can tell too. They got a very great family. Very rare do you see someone come from a family that where
Right.
you're close to and they love you to where
Yeah.
someone's off the rails too. I'm not to say that it doesn't happen. I'll get a half an email from someone saying, "Come on, that's not true."
We get it, Ryan. You called it from day one.
Ryan did call
Yeah,
it.
you
I
did.
know.
You literally did.
He did.
I can't believe it.
She has to win, but yeah, if you did call
absolutely.
it,
We're in the home stretch here.
Yeah, I like
but-
Raven.
do you think they're ever going to call you back to do anything?
I don't think so. But then again, I didn't think they were going to call me back to do Paradise. I mean, I had a lot of, I bailed on Jillian season, and then I did the Caitlyn season. I was like, I had trepidation about that again. I said I was never going to do a show again. They called me last minute about Paradise, and I did it. And so I don't know. I never say never. I talked to Love It or List It for a little bit on HGTV, and that kind of fits more into kind of what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Hitting both points.
It's not a dating show, so I think the douchebaggery, you walk a fine line. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Anything else you guys want to cover? You have anything to plug?
I would just say Wellington. I'm selling farms out there, properties, and come hang out. I think Vinny's going to be doing the brunch. Let me know before you guys go because I'd love to show you around.
I really do want to. We need to dial it up. We need to go out and have some drinks.
Yeah.
We'll get an Uber or whatever you want, and we'll have a very, very lovely time. Like I said, we almost went out to that brunch thing the other day. I'm glad I didn't know.
And Polo too. Like Polo's fun. Polo I think goes to mid-April. I think this year. It has new ownership, so it's a little different. It's not as crazy as it was, but it's still a lot of fun. So definitely recommend that as well.
So is next week the last one?
The next show?
Yeah. Our next podcast, is that our last podcast?
Oh, it might be.
Oh
I
think
man,
so.
It's kind of sad.
Do they do a wrap up show?
They
too?
do.
Yeah. So we could stretch it out for one more.
It's good. The dating advice is almost cathartic in some ways. Like I like to
It's
reflect.
therapy.
Yeah, it's like
is.
therapy.
I don't give a crap if anyone's listening. We're listening. Us 4 are listening, and we feel better. So that's all that matters.
It's only going through the headphones.
I do want to give a huge shout out to our girl Ariel, who's running the cameras. Ariel is a former intern with the KVJ show, and she's
Thank you,
filling in for
Ariel.
Suits, and she is awesome. And this whole podcast is about dating and love and relationship. Ariel, are you single? She's single.
Oh, ready to mingle.
So those two gentlemen that are listening, send in those emails. Let us know any question you guys want. We'd love to talk to you, and maybe we keep this relationship podcast going. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm digging the dating advice. It's fun.
I know it's literally 30 minutes of us just going on about our lives, and then 5 minutes of Bachelor.
But I think a lot of girls when they watch a show with their friends, like they're drinking a glass of wine and
they're talking.
They're talking about the characters, but then they're like, oh yeah, Bob did that to you last week, and that's what makes it relatable.
Well, I think it's great. I mean, you were actually on the show. You're a single, good-looking dude. You're successful. I mean, you got. I mean, you need to ask, ladies, ask this guy questions.
Yeah,
Ask him.
absolutely.
He's got answers.
I think I think that it's kind of like an entrepreneur that's had 10 businesses that failed and now he's a great consultant. I think that's kind of how I am at dating. I can tell people as to what not to do.
I don't have love, but I can tell you about it.
I can tell you what not to do.
I hear ya. Well, guys, thank you so much for the Bachelor Podcast. Thank you, Ariel. We send in those questions to us. We love getting them. And they were pretty. Some of them were kind of filthy.
Solid.
I love it. All right, guys, we love you all, and Bigfoot is real. Oh, that's not the. Damn it, that's not the match.
I like that one.
That's the wrong Bachelor. You know what? We'll ride out with that song. All right, guys, thanks for listening. We love you all. Bigfoot
Thanks,
is real.
guys.